everybody! Hi, Itamar.
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 Itamar, sorry.
I-T-A.
Mar. Welcome to another Q&A for Game of Thrones Season 6. Thank you for posting so many questions and comments. We can talk only about a few, so sorry if we didn't get your comment. Please try again later. So let's start off with the first one. Kalyan K1 says that Jon is not interesting this season. I would also add not interested.
Yeah.
And he or she wants to know, how do you see his arc, story arc, character arc for this season?
It's kind of hard to predict.
I don't know, like for every other character, we seem to have an idea of where she or he is going, but it's more difficult for Jon.
Yeah. I expect him to return to the wall at some point, maybe
Right.
towards the end of the season. Maybe something needs to happen.
Maybe next season.
Bran is returning, and then a
Right.
raven comes, or even Bran calling him from a raven. I just thought about it.
And the White Walkers are coming.
He needs to hear about his role. Not
Right.
as a Stark, as a bastard, but as he needs to discover something about his identity.
Right.
And his mythological role, like his role in the bigger scheme of ice and fire and stuff like
Okay.
that. And it should happen this season, I think.
I think in episode 10, we'll see more of the Tower of Joy. So probably next season he will act upon it. I don't know, something will happen regarding his lineage, parentage.
Okay?
But not this season. כן, כן. כי השחקן רשום בכס של 10.
That's cheating.
So Brigitte Michel, do you think the wall will fall by the end of the season? She's tired of seeing the White Walkers coming and coming and coming endlessly.
Yeah. We expect the wall to fall at some point because, it's like the Chekhov's wall.
Not familiar with the Chekhov's wall.
Like,
That's like the less familiar.
Yes. Like a wall that appears in the first act or scene or something like that.
Okay.
Will fall or
In the third.
or shoot someone.
I don't think it will happen this season. Maybe at the very, very, very end, but
No, I think it will happen this season.
this season.
Yeah, because in the credits for episode 10,
Okay.
I know the art guy that's working on the CGI.
Okay.
He only does falling walls. That's his specialty.
Got it. Okay, now we have a question from Jon Targaryen, Jon Snow in the future Jon Snow. He says that he gotta admit, I hated your channel because of how you speak, but then I realized I was an asshole, and now I love your videos.
Wow.
You make some very good points.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. And
Thank you.
talking about good points, we posted a video about the High Sparrow. One of our most popular videos with a lot of very, very positive comments, but also a lot of people disagreed with our take on the High Sparrow, which was basically that we need to judge all the characters by the same standard. If we're judging them by our own standards, then let's judge them all by our own standards, or if we judge them by their own context, then we'll have to do the same for everything. Because people thought that we were pushing maybe some religious agenda or something of the sort. We get a lot of atheist hate comments.
So you want to tell me that after watching a 15 minutes video, without knowing us before, people already decided that we are Islamic apologists and religious bigots?
I can't just so everybody knows, we're both atheists.
Yeah.
Like we were born Jewish, but the first religious Jewish dinner that I had, like Sabbath, was when I was 29.
Really?
And I didn't know anything about when you're supposed to wash your hands, and then you're not supposed to speak after you wash your hands until you eat bread. It makes sense. Like I do have some parts of my family are religious, but for me religion is like the most irrelevant thing in the world for me in my life.
Yeah, we don't believe in God. I don't subscribe to any religion. I define myself a secular humanist. Secular humanist means that you hate everyone regardless of their race and gender and sexual orientations. And not only that we're not religious apologists or something like that, we feel in our day-to-day lives, the consequences of the lack of separation between
Right.
church and state, between religion and state.
Synagogue and stuff, right?
Like, there's no public transportation in Yom Shabbat, in Sabbath.
Right. Like most of the stores, whatever, all of the stores are closed on
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah. If you die, God forbid,
Everybody
that
dies
was
in
a
Zaman.
pun. You have to be buried with a religious ceremony.
And if you want to get divorced here in Israel, you have to go through the religious institutions and do all the hocus pocus ceremonies.
Yeah.
You can't, so
But we have
Wow.
respect for people. And if people are religious,
for specific,
yeah, it's
of
like,
course. So we're not anti-religion per se,
No.
and of course we're not, I don't know, extreme. We don't condone whatever religious extremism or the lack of separation between religion and state. So whatever. Let's tackle this issue from another angle. So let's for a second imagine that the same story, Game of Thrones, The Song of Ice and Fire, with the same events, the same characters, is just being told about a family in Flea Bottom, and the head of the family, Ron,
he likes to be called Ronnie.
and he has a son, Ronnie Jr. And Ronnie is a good guy, but he has his own demons. He has a drinking problem. He likes to see horrors. We do meet the characters that we know, like Cersei and Joffrey, but we only see them from the point of view of Ronnie and his friends and his family. These lords, they call him low-born because they think that he is genetically inferior to them. Inferior genetically. They call themselves high-born. And then comes this leader called the High Sparrow. And he talks to the man. The High Sparrow doesn't call him low-born. He sees him as an equal. So then, when the High Sparrow forces Cersei to do the Walk of Shame, Ronnie Jr. goes to the Walk of Shame. And when he sees Cersei and everybody is so angry, then something snaps in him. And he tells her, "You call me low-born? Your fucking children are low-born! Fucking inbred! One of them is a psychopath, the other is a dumbass." And then he feels relieved. So after that, he goes home to his friends. And he talks shit about Cersei. And he says, this Cersei, her tits were like this, like this. And then comes this monster, Robert Strong, and takes his head and smashes it into a wall. So is Ronnie now a bad guy? Is that what you're telling me? Are you against Ronnie?
Basically, what you're saying is that you hate gays.
This was what I said. Thank you for
And you-
summing it all up. Okay. Basically, it's not like the High Sparrow is our favorite character or something. Okay. Next question by Kristen. So Kristen wants to know, which Game of Thrones character do each of you identify the most with? I would say the High Sparrow,
Really identify with Arya.
because you're a killer.
Because I always wanted to be a girl. No, there's something about the fluidity of your identity. I always felt
Okay.
a very strong feeling about it, like what makes you what you are, what makes you you. Your identity is built on a few layers and stuff like that. She needs to find it. She needs to find these anchors in her identity in order to know who she truly is and her purpose in life. And I feel like I always want to stab someone.
So more about the High Sparrow. The Night King thinks that the High Sparrow reminds him a little bit of Malcolm X. If you separate violence and militancy, that violence, that's bad, but being a militant, for example, Malcolm X is a great example for someone that we don't judge by our own moral standards of the 21st century, but by the historical context in which he lived in. And he had a right to be extreme and militant.
And Martin Luther King, he cheated on his wife.
He was a religious guy. I don't know if he supported gay marriage. I don't think so. Okay, so let's go to another patron, Rutger Voss. Hi, Rutger. He thinks that some of the peasant revolts during the 100 years war in England, like at the both sides of the channel, remind him a little bit of maybe the Sparrow movement. It was around the same time.
Yeah, it's a recurrent theme in medieval times. Basically, it had something to do with hunger, not necessarily this ideology of, egalitarian ideology or more just ideology, but, hunger, and then some leader comes and gathers people together. 99.9% of the time it ended in a bloodbath and a complete failure.
Wow.
But it's a sort of a primitive checks and balances, because it tells the nobles something that, okay, we cannot neglect it and pee on them all the time, because this will something that will happen. You know, it's dangerous. It's not because we think they are right or something like that, because they're not. We need to take that into consideration before we do whatever we want to do.
Like policy, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to Yvonne Hawkins. She says, haha, that's because you guys are soulmates. Kind of like Plutonic version of Jaime and Cersei, but without the romance and the incest. Plutonic? Like half Plutonic, right?
No.
Why don't you call me back? Let's go to Eftatios Michailidis. He has 3 questions for you. Who are we? What are we? What is the meaning of life?
Who are you?
You.
There is this philosopher, Krishnamurti. He's an Indian. You should check him out.
Okay.
Someone asks him, "Who are you?" And he answers like, "Who am I? Who are you? This is a very important question."
No, that's racist. What are you doing?
No.
To tell you who I am is really quite meaningless.
Okay, so Arya. A lot of speculations about Arya in season 6. What the fuck is going on? Will it be resolved? Because it makes no sense that she would stab that way, like looking, hey, old woman! Oh no, you are stabbing me! And then flip.
Yeah.
Like, something's off there. So many speculations. Maybe she's the waif. Maybe the waif is her. Maybe Sira Forel is her. Maybe whatever. Maybe everything is in her mind.
She was without needle as well.
And her hair was different, and maybe she was like with her hands behind her back like Sira Forel. That's like Night King, shout out. Basically, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I have one bold prediction about Arya and the reveal, the big reveal of what just happened. It is going to be awful.
Yeah.
Bold prediction.
Yeah.
Boom.
Sometimes the best explanation is the simplest one.
Okay, so let's go to Karen Davis. She says that he has said repeatedly that there's no good or evil in this world, right? So everybody's gray. But there is evil. There is Ramsay.
Yeah.
There was Joffrey. So maybe if there is complete evil, maybe there's also complete good.
I don't think so. Ramsay and Joffrey, they are sociopaths. So
They're
like
sick in the head.
they're sick in the head. Yeah, they're not evil. They're amorals. They don't have a perception of good and evil. Everything they do is to satisfy some current passion that they have
Right.
at that moment. Like if it's fun to kill people, I will kill people.
Right.
If it's fun to
Right.
rape, I will rape. You know.
And there's no sickness that we know of that makes people be complete good. So that's why there's not complete good.
Yeah. For that you need to take some ecstasy.
How does that make one feel?
It makes them love the world and connected to everyone and
Wow.
want to have this urgent feeling that you need to hug someone.
Wow, how do you know?
I heard
From who?
a friend.
Is he really a friend? Just a friend, Itamar?
He's dead.
Sorry. Let's go to Yolanta C1. For the final battle against the White Walkers, do you think that science will help win the war against the White Walkers and dragons somehow?
No. Science maybe will be there to pick up the pieces and explain what happened using logic and
Okay.
in order to maybe prevent it from happening again and break the cycle and something like that.
Okay, John Holmes says, you guys have a very odd sense of humor. My question is, are you guys playing a character for the reviews or are you being genuine? I am always genuine. John Holmes.
It's a mix of both.
First of all, I'm being genuine, but I do have to act surprised sometimes, or maybe say something that I don't agree with, or I have to act like I don't know something that I do know. I'm just in the moment, so that's what I'm thinking in the moment. So basically, in that way, I'm a little bit smarter in real life. But on the other hand, some of the stuff that I say, our editor tells me to say, so I'm not as smart as I appear to be. So it kind of evens itself out.
Yeah. I work hard to nod all the time and act like I agree with him. So.
So do you agree with me?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, Jessica. Jessica has majored in theology and English literature. And she has a tinfoil theory that I like very much. That maybe when Ned killed Lady Sansa's the direwolf, he committed a sin towards the Starkness, because direwolf is like the sigil and the symbol of the Starks, and all the bad things that have happened ever since are because they like tore the bond with themselves.
That's
very
like
smart.
historiographical way of seeing it. Like, in the Bible, you can read about historical events,
Okay.
like the destruction of the first temple, which is an actual historical event, but the Bible says it's because we sinned. It's because of the gods. So this is the
Okay.
explanation. So it's a nice way to read it.
Okay. Even if that's not the reason that the Starks have been getting wiped off the face of the earth, the fact that it's written that way is symbolic and is beautiful and good theory.
That's the beauty. That's the genius of George R. R. Martin, really.
And that's the genius of Jessica.
Yeah.
Jessica 1.
Shout out.
Okay, last question by Luis Rodriguez. Hi, Luis. He wants to know who is going to be in the final of Euro 2016. That's football/soccer.
That's a great question. Let me check the flames. Poland against Germany.
Poland against Germany?
That's what the flames said.
I think France versus Spain. We want to go conservative.
Okay.
And our editor thinks Croatia is going to beat Germany. No. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Thank you for posting all the comments. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click like and subscribe to get all our content, 3 videos per week for the 2 final weeks of the season and a bunch of season reviews. And if you want to support our channel, there's a link in the description to our Patreon page. There you could sponsor us, help us make our channel more sustainable. And we also have a second channel that is not about Game of Thrones, about the Bible and history and other TV shows and movies. It's called Wandering Jews. This video is about the real Lord, the real Yahweh from the Bible. It's not who you think it is. Click it to watch. And it's all, of course, from a secular point of view, right? It's not a religious video. So, bye everybody. We'll see you next time after episode 8. Don't miss the reviews.